My daughter's first boyfriend turned out to be my wife's ex's son. The truth I uncovered shattered our 12-year marriage. My wife Megan, 35F, and I, Tom, 37M, have been married for 12 years. We met in college during our sophomore year. I was a business major, and she was studying education. We hit it off immediately at a mutual friend's party, bonding over our shared love of 90s sitcoms and terrible pizza. After dating for 3 years, we got married in a small ceremony surrounded by our closest friends and family. We have 2 children, Lily, 14F, and Noah, 10M. Lily was born 2 years into our marriage, and she's always been a daddy's girl. I remember holding her for the first time, this tiny bundle with a shock of dark hair just like mine, and feeling like my heart might burst. Noah came along 4 years later, a surprise but a welcome one. He's the spitting image of Megan, with her blonde hair and green eyes. Our marriage has always been strong, or so I thought. We've prided ourselves on our open communication and trust. We've weathered job losses, family illnesses, and the everyday stresses of raising 2 kids. Through it all, we've always been a team. That is, until recently. It all started when Lily came home from school one day, bubbling with excitement about a new boy she met. She told us his name was Alex, 14M, and that they had become fast friends. They shared several classes and had bonded over their mutual love of art. Lily couldn't stop talking about how funny and kind Alex was. Megan and I exchanged knowing glances, remembering our own first crushes. I felt a twinge of protectiveness. My little girl was growing up, but I was happy to see her so excited. Megan seemed thrilled, immediately peppering Lily with questions about Alex and offering to help her pick out new outfits for school. However, things took a turn when Lily mentioned that Alex had asked her out on a date. They wanted to go to the local pizza place after school on Friday. I was surprised but tried to stay calm. Lily had never shown interest in dating before, and I wasn't sure if she was ready. Megan, on the other hand, was ecstatic. She started planning Lily's outfit and giving her advice on how to act on a first date. I felt uneasy about the whole situation. Lily was only 14, and I didn't know anything about this boy. I expressed my concerns to Megan that night after the kids went to bed, but she brushed them off. "It's just puppy love, Tom," she said. "Don't you remember what it was like to be young and in love?" I did remember, but I also remembered some of the stupid things I did as a teenager. I didn't want Lily making the same mistakes. I decided to do some digging. I asked around at work, as I knew a few parents with kids at Lily's school. To my shock, I discovered that Alex had a reputation for being a troublemaker. He'd been suspended twice for fighting and was known to hang out with older kids who smoked and drank. When I shared this information with Megan, she brushed it off again. "Kids make mistakes, Tom," she said. "We shouldn't judge Alex based on rumors. Lily says he's kind and funny. Shouldn't we trust our daughter's judgment?" I couldn't believe how dismissive she was being. This was our daughter's safety we were talking about. I remembered my own wild teenage years, the parties, the drinking, the close calls. I'd straightened out in college, but not before giving my parents more than a few gray hairs. I didn't want Lily anywhere near that kind of trouble. I put my foot down and told Lily she couldn't date Alex. She was furious, accusing me of ruining her life. "You don't even know him," she yelled, slamming her bedroom door. Megan sided with Lily, telling me I was overreacting. "You're going to push her away if you try to control her like this," she warned. I felt like I was going crazy. Was I really the only one who saw the potential danger here? I tried to explain my concerns to Lily calmly, but she wouldn't listen. She gave me the silent treatment for days, only speaking to Megan. Things escalated quickly after that. I started noticing changes in Lily's behavior. She became secretive, always on her phone, and argumentative when asked about her plans. I had a sinking feeling that she was still seeing Alex behind my back. My suspicions were confirmed when I saw them together at the mall one day when I was supposed to be at work. I had taken a half day off to run some errands, and there they were, holding hands and laughing at the food court. My heart sank as I realized Megan must have been covering for Lily. I confronted Megan about it that night, and we had our first real fight in years. She admitted to helping Lily see Alex, saying I was being unreasonable and that Lily would just rebel more if we tried to keep them apart. She accused me of being controlling and paranoid. "You're acting just like my dad did," she said, bringing up a story I'd heard many times before. Megan's father had been strict and overprotective, causing a rift between them that lasted well into her adulthood. "I won't let you do the same thing to Lily," she declared. I couldn't understand why she was so adamant about Lily dating this boy. It seemed to go beyond just wanting to be the cool mom or avoiding conflict with Lily. There was an intensity to Megan's arguments that didn't make sense to me. The situation came to a head last week. Lily asked if she could go to a party at Alex's house. His parents would be there, she said. I was reluctant, but Megan insisted it would be a good opportunity for me to meet Alex and his family. Against my better judgment, I agreed. When I dropped Lily off, I was shocked to see the state of Alex's house. It was in a rundown neighborhood, nothing like the middle-class suburb where we lived. There were beer cans littering the front yard, and the music from inside was so loud I could hear it from the street. Worse, there wasn't an adult in sight. I refused to let Lily stay and took her home. She was livid, yelling and crying the whole way home. Megan was even angrier when we got back. She yelled at me for embarrassing Lily and ruining her social life. "You're going to make her hate you," she screamed. That night, after the kids went to bed, Megan dropped a bombshell on me. She admitted that she knew Alex's family. In fact, she dated Alex's older brother, Mark, 38M, in high school. She said she felt a connection to Alex because of this and wanted to give him a chance. I was stunned. Not only had Megan been lying to me, but she'd been prioritizing her nostalgia over our daughter's safety. When I pressed her for more information, she clammed up, saying it was all in the past and didn't matter. But it does matter to me. I can't help but wonder what else Megan might be hiding. Why is she so invested in this relationship between Lily and Alex? And how can I protect my daughter when my own wife is working against me? I'm at a loss. I love Megan, but I can't trust her right now. And I'm terrified for Lily, who seems determined to see Alex no matter what. I don't want to be the bad guy, but I also can't stand by and watch my daughter potentially get hurt. Am I overreacting? Should I trust Megan's judgment? Or should I stand my ground, even if it means causing a rift in my family? I never thought I'd be in this position, and I'm not sure what to do next. Update 1. It's been a month since my last post, and things have only gotten more complicated. I want to thank everyone for their advice and support. It's been invaluable during this difficult time. After my last post, I decided to have a serious talk with Megan. I told her how hurt I was by her lies and that I couldn't understand why she was so invested in Lily's relationship with Alex. Megan broke down and revealed more about her past with Mark, Alex's older brother. Apparently, their relationship was more serious than she initially let on. They dated for 3 years in high school and were even engaged briefly after graduation. Megan said she ended things when Mark started showing signs of drug abuse, but it was the hardest decision she'd ever made. This revelation shocked me. We've been together for 15 years, and she'd never mentioned an engagement before. I remembered how Megan and I met in college. She was quiet and reserved at first, and it took months for her to open up about her past relationships. She had mentioned dating someone seriously in high school, but she never went into details. I never pushed, assuming it was just typical high school drama. When I asked why she kept this from me, she said she was ashamed of that part of her life and wanted to forget it. She told me about how her relationship with Mark had been intense and all-consuming. They were the golden couple of their high school, he was the star quarterback, and she was head cheerleader. Everyone expected them to get married and live happily ever after. But things weren't as perfect as they seemed. Mark had a temper, and he could be controlling. Megan said she often found herself walking on eggshells around him, never sure what might set him off. When he proposed right after graduation, she said yes out of fear and expectation rather than love. It was only when she caught him doing cocaine at a party that she found the strength to leave. She broke off the engagement and left for college, determined to start fresh. That's when she met me. While I was processing this information, Lily dropped another bombshell. She confessed that she'd been secretly seeing Alex despite our objections. Worse, she told us she thought she might be pregnant. The next few days were a blur of home pregnancy tests, thankfully negative, and tense conversations. Megan and I were united in our concern for Lily, but we disagreed on how to handle the situation. Megan wanted to be supportive and educate Lily about safe sex, while I wanted to forbid her from seeing Alex altogether. I couldn't help but draw parallels between Lily's situation and Megan's past. Was history repeating itself? Was Megan trying to give Alex a chance because she felt guilty about how things ended with Mark? Our disagreement came to a head when Megan suggested inviting Alex and his family over for dinner. She thought if we got to know them, we might feel better about the situation. I was strongly against it, but Megan went ahead and arranged it anyway. The dinner was a disaster. Mark, now Alex and Lily's high school principal, showed up with their mother, but their father was conspicuously absent. Throughout the evening, I couldn't help but notice the way Megan and Mark interacted. They seemed to have an easy familiarity that made me uncomfortable. I watched as Megan laughed at Mark's jokes, touching his arm in a way that seemed too intimate for old acquaintances. I saw how Mark's eyes followed Megan around the room, a look in them that I couldn't quite place but that made my stomach churn. Alex, for his part, was polite but withdrawn. He barely spoke to Lily, instead spending most of the evening on his phone. Lily seemed disappointed by his behavior, and I felt a mix of relief and concern. Maybe she was starting to see Alex's true colors, but I hated seeing her hurt. After dinner, I overheard Mark and Megan talking in the kitchen. Mark was saying something about old times and how he'd never stopped thinking about her. When Megan noticed me, she quickly ended the conversation. Now, I'm more confused and hurt than ever. I feel like there's more to Megan and Mark's history than she's telling me. And I'm worried that her unresolved feelings are clouding her judgment when it comes to Lily and Alex. I'm considering taking a few days away to clear my head, but I'm worried about leaving Lily. I don't trust Megan to enforce any rules while I'm gone. At the same time, I feel like I'm drowning in suspicion and doubt. Every interaction between Megan and Lily now seems loaded with hidden meanings and secrets. I've started having trouble sleeping, lying awake at night replaying conversations and interactions, looking for clues I might have missed. During the day, I find myself distracted at work, unable to focus on my tasks. My boss has noticed and has expressed concern about my performance. What should I do? Should I confront Megan about what I overheard? How can I protect Lily when I feel like I'm the only one seeing the danger? And how do I move forward in my marriage when I feel like the foundation of trust has been completely shattered? Update 2. It's been 2 weeks since my last update, and I'm still reeling from everything that's happened. I took everyone's advice and decided to stay home instead of leaving. I'm glad I did because things took an unexpected turn. A few days after the disastrous dinner, I received an anonymous email. The sender claimed to have information about Megan and Mark's past. Curious and admittedly a bit desperate, I agreed to meet them. The meeting was with a woman named Rachel, 37F, who introduced herself as Mark's ex-wife. She had a lot to say about Mark and Megan's relationship, and none of it was good. According to Rachel, Mark and Megan's relationship didn't end when Megan claimed it did. They had been on and off throughout college, and there were rumors of them reconnecting even after Megan and I started dating. Rachel even suggested that there might have been some overlap between her relationship with Mark and his relationship with Megan. Rachel told me about how she and Mark met in college. They dated for a few years before getting married right after graduation. She said the first few years were good, but things started to change when Mark got his job at the high school. He started coming home late, being secretive about his phone, and picking fights over small things. It was during this time that Rachel started hearing rumors about Mark and Megan. Apparently, they had run into each other at a school event, and people noticed how close they seemed. Rachel confronted Mark about it, but he denied everything, accusing her of being paranoid. Their marriage deteriorated quickly after that. Rachel filed for divorce when she found out she was pregnant, not wanting to bring a child into such a toxic situation. She's raised her daughter, now 8, as a single mother ever since. I was stunned by Rachel's revelations. If this was true, it meant Megan had been lying to me for our entire relationship. I didn't want to believe it, but it explained so much about her behavior lately. When I confronted Megan with this information, she broke down. She admitted that she and Mark had a brief affair early in our marriage, around the time Lily was conceived. She swore it was over and that Lily was definitely mine, but the revelation shook me to my core. Megan told me about how she ran into Mark at a teachers' conference shortly after we got married. Old feelings resurfaced, and before she knew it, they were involved in a passionate affair. She said it only lasted a few months before she came to her senses and ended things for good. I asked Megan to leave the house for a while. I needed space to think and to focus on protecting Lily. Megan agreed, saying she would stay with her sister. In the midst of all this, Lily came to me in tears. She confessed that she'd overheard everything and felt terrible for causing so much trouble. She also admitted that Alex had been pressuring her to do things she wasn't comfortable with, and she wanted to end the relationship but didn't know how. Lily told me about how Alex had changed since they started dating. At first, he was sweet and attentive, always texting her and giving her compliments. But lately, he'd become possessive and jealous, getting angry if she talked to other boys or spent time with her friends instead of him. He'd been pressuring her to drink at parties and to go further physically than she was ready for. I hugged my daughter tight, relieved that she was finally opening up to me. We had a long talk about relationships, consent, and self-respect. I promised to support her in whatever decision she made about Alex. Now, I'm facing some difficult decisions. My trust in Megan has been shattered, and I'm not sure our marriage can recover from this. At the same time, I need to be there for Lily and help her navigate this difficult situation with Alex. I'm considering seeking legal advice about separation and custody arrangements. I never thought I'd be in this position, but I need to do what's best for my children. Has anyone been in a similar situation? How did you handle co-parenting while separating? And how can I best support Lily through all of this? Update 3. It's been a month since my last update, and a lot has changed. I want to thank everyone for their support and advice during this difficult time. After much consideration and several conversations with Lily, I decided to file for divorce from Megan. It wasn't an easy decision, but I realized I couldn't trust her anymore, and staying together would only cause more pain for everyone involved. Megan didn't take the news well. She begged for another chance, promising to cut all ties with Mark and to be more honest in the future. She reminded me of all the good times we'd had together, our wedding day, the birth of our children, the family vacations we'd taken. For a moment, I was tempted to give in. But then I remembered all the lies, the betrayal, and how she had prioritized or passed over our daughter's well-being. I knew I had to stay strong for my children. Lily has been incredibly mature throughout this whole process. She ended things with Alex, realizing that the relationship wasn't healthy for her. It wasn't easy. Alex didn't take the breakup well and tried to guilt her into staying with him. But Lily stood her ground, and I've never been prouder of her. She started seeing the school counselor to work through her feelings about everything that's happened. At first, she was reluctant to go, but after a few sessions, she told me it was helping her understand her emotions better. She's even joined an art club at school, channeling her feelings into her paintings. Noah, while initially confused and upset, seems to be adjusting. He's been having trouble sleeping and has been more clingy than usual. I've made sure to spend extra time with him, reassuring him that both Megan and I love him very much, regardless of what's happening between us. We've started a new bedtime routine where we read a chapter of his favorite book series together every night. As for Mark, I reported his inappropriate behavior to the school board. An investigation was launched, and he's currently on administrative leave. I don't know what will come of it, but I felt it was important to protect other students from potentially being in the same situation as Lily. The thought of him being in a position of authority over teenage girls, given his history, made me sick. Megan has moved out and is staying with her parents. We're working on a co-parenting plan that puts the kids first. It's not easy, but we're both committed to making it work for Lily and Noah's sake. We've agreed to use a co-parenting app to communicate about the kids and schedule visitations, which helps keep things civil and organized. I'm taking things one day at a time. Some days are harder than others, but I know I made the right decision for myself and my children. We're healing, slowly but surely. I've started seeing a therapist myself to work through my feelings of betrayal and to learn how to be the best single dad I can be. Lily and I have been spending more quality time together. We've started cooking dinner together a few nights a week, trying out new recipes and talking about our days. It's been a great way to reconnect and rebuild our relationship. Noah and I have our own special time too. We've been working on building a treehouse in the backyard. It's been a fun project that's given us both something positive to focus on amidst all the changes. Thank you all for your support throughout this journey. Your advice and kind words have been a lifeline during the darkest moments. If there's one thing I've learned from all of this, it's the importance of trusting your instincts and standing up for what you believe is right, even when it's difficult. To those who might be going through something similar, remember that it's okay to prioritize your own well-being and that of your children. It's not selfish to protect yourself from toxic situations. And most importantly, don't be afraid to reach out for help when you need it. As for me, I'm looking forward to this new chapter in our lives. It's not the future I had imagined, but I'm hopeful that it will be a happy and healthy one for my children and me.